Alrighty. Thank you all for coming and everybody jumping online here. All right. So for today's sales meeting, what we got going over, as always, some office news, things going on. We'll hear from our affiliates. Good morning. Go over some market trends. Most of you know, I had the 2-day training last Tuesday and Wednesday, full days of the new the home platform, and really seeing what it can do and things like that. I'm going to go into some detail of what I'm excited about it, some of the things that we're gonna have, and then for the sales meetings going on, I'm just going to give you guys some small little sneak peeks of stuff. Like we're not going to do full on training on it every single time. Just going to give you like a small little short video sneak peek of, hey, this is what this tool does, and this is why you should use it. And then at the end, we're going to have our interview with Jeanette Schaefer's. Did I spell that one wrong?
Yeah,
Did I?
it's just Jeanette Schaefer.
Jeanette Schaefer.
You spell Schaefer different. That's okay.
if you know if you know me, I pretty much do most things talk to text. So it's something I ask our staff, always ask staff, hey, what's something you want me to let everybody know? When you guys are doing a deal, you have it, you put it into My Deals, and if anything changes after that first initial putting that deal in at all, anytime there's a change to commission, the close date, sales price, credits, concessions, any kind of seller concessions like that. If there's a change in the buyer's or seller's name, maybe it was spelled differently. Maybe it says it needs to be a trust and not their names or something like that, whatever it be. We see those things come up. Or if there's any parties who are added or removed from the transaction, make sure you're going on there doing a My Deals change form and saying what that change actually is. It'll help you guys get paid faster. If those things aren't done, it will slow you down from getting paid on time. Okay, so it's something that's getting missed a lot on there. Anything else I'm missing there, Susan?
There's another step in the process. They can use some time. So this stuff will help with that. So just getting it set up and ready for it because taking another task off of this list.
Yep. Awesome. And if you haven't seen yet, in My Deals, when you go in there and you have a buyer side transaction, before you could just go and say, hey, my buyer had an offer accepted. And then you put all that information. If you put a buyer transaction in the last couple of months, you've seen this. You first have to go, I have new buyers. You have to put all that information in, attach your buyer agency contract. Then you can go over and do the my buyer accepted an offer. So you got to do that part first, and then my buyer accepts the offer. But any contract you guys get signed, a listing contract, new buyer agency that is signed, any contract signed at all for a new deal, new buyer, new listing, 48 hours they're supposed to be in My Deals. Okay, that's a state law. They could, you're supposed to have that within 48 hours into the My Deal system. Okay, and Roger, let me go out of this and try to go back in.
All right.
Refresh this because it's not showing your flyer on here very good. It's there. It just when I went into that mode, that's what we need.
Okay. So this morning I'm here to make a very exciting announcement. PHFA has introduced a new product. Doesn't happen very often. I've been doing PHFA loans since the mid-90s, so I can say that with authority. The new program is called the PHFA Pay Date. And this is another program to help first-time home buyers, not limited to first-time home buyers, get into as possible in terms of out-of-pocket cash. We've seen in this market, it's been going on for a while, seller assist is kind of detrimental, prohibitive to having offers accepted. This new program, K-Date, will fill that gap, not only with the maximum 6% seller assist, but you can go up to 8% K-Date. But it's not seller assist. It is a second mortgage. It is a second mortgage that is deferred. So you have two programs that have second mortgages now with PHFA. One is a K-Fit, and now this is a K-Date. The K-Fit second mortgage is forgivable over a 10-year period. This loan, K-Date, is never forgivable. However, it's deferred until the mortgage is over. So in other words, if you keep that mortgage for 30 years, you pay it at the 30-year first when the loan's being paid off. If you refinance the first loan, then you have to pay off this K-Date loan. If you sell your home, it has to be paid off. But if you keep the mortgage, you never make a payment and no interest accrues. And so, whereas yeah, it is great. Dana asked, as soon as I showed him it yesterday, he's like, I know he has.
That's what was at my face like.
Yeah. He took, why is this better than K-Fit? I'm like, thank God I came to you before the meeting. Let me go back to my, it was fresh off the press then. I was really excited about it. Maybe hadn't done enough research. The biggest appeal is that you get the 8%. HeyFit, you're limited to 5%. Up to $150,000 second mortgage, you get 8%. So if you're looking at $100,000 deal, that's $8,000 towards closing costs, toward down payment. And so Dana asked, why would even PHFA do this? Well, the fact that you're getting more seller assist, that 3% more than KFIT, the trade-off is it has to be paid back eventually. Whereas the KFIT is forgivable, but you're only getting 5%. So who's going to use this program? Generally folks who need less than $150,000 for that second mortgage and who need the 8%. That's the purpose of it.
The income.
The income limits will be the same as the PHFA income limits, which are also, it's about 100,000, let's say 106.8, I think was the latest figure. And then those income limits are, in tracked areas that are lower income, they will change. Yes.
Now, let's say someone were to pay it off and not refinance or not sell. Is there a balloon?
No, well, it is a balloon because that all has to be paid off, but there's no penalty or fees associated. That's what you mean. Yeah. There's no prepayment penalty of any sort.
U.S. citizen.
So it's a government loan. It will depend on which vehicle for the first mortgage they're using. If it's FHA, they will need to, we can do only green card as opposed to non-resident payments. So they will need to have either citizenship or permanent resident alias. That's
I he's here for 20 days and days. Every year I pay my
mortgage off.
passed away. So what happened there?
We will mourn you.
Excellent.
We will miss you dearly. The estate takes care of this thing. It's still a debt. So it'd be like any other mortgage outstanding. The estate would pay it out of what's, yeah. I'm not an estate attorney, so I don't know exactly what happened.
So at the time of probate, we'll have to pay.
It will be a debt until it's settled one way or the other. Let's put it that way. It's not forgiven even upon, I always like this mortgage, that root, M-O-R-T, from the Latin death, right? So a mortgage, you just pay until you die. Very uplifting, right?
Look like what would the first mortgage be like FHA and then
Maybe.
a supplement?
Glad you asked. You can use the second mortgage in conjunction with a number of other PHFA first mortgage products. The one I always talk about is the Keystone Home Loan because it offers that lowest rate, always usually at least a point under what's available in the market. So you would, if in the Keystone Home Loan, it'd be FHA, conventional, USDA, VA.
Okay.
So you would set it up, PHFA, FHA, with secondary financing.
Okay.
Remember when we were doing 80-10-10s all the time? You disclose the second mortgage. I think you should.
And then so remind me then how the 150,000 works out. So that is just on the second mortgage?
Yep.
Or okay.
Yep.
So
Up to, yep.
So give me an example of first mortgage would be.
So let's say for easy figures, $100,000 first time home buyer. The first mortgage might be 10% down, 90,000. The second mortgage might be 8,000 for this. And then they have 2%. So your LTV would be 98 in that case.
Okay.
And so when we determine when it's 98 or that's when I sit down with customers and say, here's how we should structure it.
Okay. All right. And then this is the federal, okay. So.
Pennsylvania Home Finance Authority.
Okay.
It's their program, limited to PA. Yes. And I've already gotten one call, Teddy. Thank you. I hope your customers, if you're on here, I hope your customer is the first one to use this program, which is hot off the press. More questions? We conclude there.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. People. Hi.
My schedule has changed and I've set up a new one because I was supposed to be there right now. And anyways, I'll get into that later. So I'm not going to take up too much of everybody's time. I wanted to let you know that I wanted to circle back on cash closings because I know in the past buyers want to bring a check. They don't want to wire. So I have some good news. Buyers are now able to either wire their funds due on a cash closing or they can bring a certified check, which I believe we had talked about before. But the new information is we no longer have to verify funds for a certified check from a buyer for a cash closing. So in the past, sometimes I would say, well, yeah, they can use a check, but we need it 3 to 5 days before closing. That's gone out the window. The only time we will have to verify funds is if the cash closing is vacant land, because apparently there are some vacant land scams out there now, and we have to be a little more proactive with any vacant land deals. So that would be the only time. Other than that, we no longer have to verify funds. We don't have to borrow or bother the buyers with, well, what branch did you get the check from? Can I have it 3 to 5 days early? All that's gone. So hopefully that will make things a lot easier when it comes to a cash closing. And I just wanted to let you guys know that.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you very much, Jen.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
I'll
All right.
try.
I just realized I missed something on here. Went right over it. I don't know how. Red, white, and blue party at Shooters. So it's going to be June 26th from 1 to 3. Okay. I forget
And blue,
Yeah, I think she's trying to say something. Were you trying to say something, Jen?
just that for anybody that's coming, please wear your best red, white, and blue.
Oh, yes. Yeah, wear your red, white, and blue. Let's exactly what Jen's. Did you wear that today because you knew I was going to talk about this?
No, I didn't. It was clean and it was the closest thing to my, and I threw it on for right now.
So, love to have as many of you down there for this event. And just going to be fun. We're going to have a couple bays open. We're going to have food, drinks, and stuff like that. And the more people that we get to go to this, and I forget what we're doing, Jen. If we have to get a picture with you and GRA, I forget what it is. They did this last year. The office that gets the most pictures
Yeah.
and most
Okay.
people to go, they get a chance to win a trip to Kennywood for the whole
Yep.
office. So that'd be pretty cool doing that. And then a little sneak peek, we're planning on doing something, Pirates game as well, coming up here in a couple months. So be looking out for that. Then that'll be our office going and doing that. So I think that will be really fun. Alrighty. So moving on to the market trends. It's pulled Allegheny County's market update of what's going on. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to much. If you go on, and you can just go into RPR, look this up, or go into our Market Quest and get some of this information. But if you guys are out there and you're really active, you kind of know what the market's doing. But if you haven't been out there, you're not selling as much, maybe you're not seeing this. So I wanted to go over some of the market trends, what's happened. So Allegheny County right now, we have 2.36 months of inventory. So it's still selling pretty fast. You get up here more in the North Hills, it's even lower. It's closer to 1 month of inventory on the market. It's going much faster. So, that's down 7.81% month over month. There's less inventory. There's more buyers buying houses. And we're down 22% in Allegheny County year over year. So there is less inventory out there for the clients. As you can see, if you've been writing up offers, there is still multiple offers right now going on. Who here has been in multiple offers in the last, all right, we got half the room here that has been in multiple offers here recently.
Yeah.
Did you win? No, not you. So median sold price, $275,000. Yeah, well, it's because it's counting all of Allegheny County. You're getting some lower income areas and stuff like that, which I'm surprised. If here, our average sales price here is like 320,000 is, I think, is what our office is. So we're a bit higher than that. But Allegheny County as a whole, 275,000, 4.66 month over month, and then 7.84% appreciation year over year. So this is some great appreciation that we're getting in Allegheny County. Sold to list price ratio is 98.6%. So month over month, that's gone up almost 1%. So things are selling again, multiple offers, a lot closer to what it is listed for. So when you're having conversations with your buyers and you're going and looking at things and you have a conversation with them, it is very much a seller's market. You are probably going to see multiple offers if it's a house that's been on the market for a week. The first weekend, there's a good chance you could see that if it's not overpriced. And then median days on the market, 28 days, and that's dropped quite a bit, just over 0.25%. It has dropped. All right, so what's this mean for a seller? So 3 years ago, the median sales price was $229,000. Last year, $255,000. Today, median sold price went up $20,000. So people are getting some pretty good, decent appreciation in your house. So 3-year equity gain that a seller has had is $45,000. over the last 3 years in Allegheny County. I'll take it. That's not too bad. And then at a 98.6% listed sales price ratio, I hope hopefully most people knows what that means. So if it's a $300,000 house, I like to say it nets, but the sales they're going to get $295,000 if that's a listed sales price ratio that's on our average. So again, inventory is down 22.4% year over year. There's a lot of competition buyers out there. If you have people waiting, if they don't have to move somewhere and they got a second house, investment property they're thinking about getting rid of, I'd be talking to those kind of clients of saying, hey, right now is still a great time. It's a great time to sell. We're getting appreciation. We don't know what the future holds, where this is going, but this is a good time to really capitalize on this. What's it mean for a buyer? A buyer that waits is going to pay more, and you're going to see this. So they have on there the median estimated home value. This is different than what the median sale price is. So they are estimating what the home values are in all the Allegheny County, 291,000, which is up 1.9% over just the last 3 days, almost 2% appreciation there in the last 30 days. So if a buyer waits just 6 months, they could pay $6,000 more for a property than if they buy now. If they wait 12 months, they're going to be paying about $12,000 more for the same property. So for your buyers out there, hey, there's a chance it could keep on going up. Have the conversations with them of, if you're looking, get in the market now. So, I mean, gosh, if you were a buyer that's been waiting for years, you were way better off paying, back in 3 years ago with a little bit higher interest rates and refinancing. So I would encourage people, get in the house now, or you're going to be paying more later on. All right, a little bit of language. I've been seeing this has come up as kind of it's been a problem a few times where people put as is sale in to the contract. Anybody, what does as is mean? Glad you say that, but like there are some people that will go and search through agent remarks and say for as is, think they're going to get a deal on it sometimes. I don't even like putting that in there. I don't mind having it in the contract if your people want to have it in the contract. But if you just write as is on a sale, everybody has a different interpretation of what that actually means. Some people think it's they can just leave everything in the house. Like no, it's as is. This is everything in it. It does not mean that at all. So really what most people think it means.
Defects.
Yes. Yeah. So the language you should have, the buyer and the sellers agree the property is being sold in as is condition, inclusive of all known defects, unknown latent defects, without any seller's credit to the buyer or repair to be made. No BRI will be submitted by the buyer, nor consideration by the seller. Okay? So they're not moving anything. They're not giving any kind of credits. They're not going to do any repairs. Be very clear with this language, because a lot of people think as is different. This is the same thing I went through informational purposes only recently. This is the same thing for that. Some people are going to think informational purposes for one person might mean different than other. If you're on the buyer side and you still want your buyers to have the right to terminate the contract, if it's for informational purposes only and get their hand money back, I highly recommend writing that in there. This is for informational purposes only, but the buyers still reserve the right to terminate the contract due to inspections and retain their hand money. Okay? Be very clear.
For informational and decision-making purposes.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That's fine. And then I've sent out to, if you go ahead, Kevin.
That's fast. Best place with that language.
Page 14.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, page 14 for any language like this is the best place to do it. Some people will do it on an addendum, but if there's space there, just put it in there and make it part of the contract. Yeah, just make it part of the contract, put it right in there. Yep.
Or if maybe agent remarks, the addendum or language for page 14, something along.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't put it in agent remark. Oh, ahead of time?
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone sent over the offer or letting you know, I would check to make sure we could put this in agent remarks. I'm not sure. I don't see why not. I would just double check beforehand with the MLS, just give them a call and make sure that language is fine. I don't see why not. It'd be kind of the same, I think, as put in agent remarks. Yeah.
I don't know how many characters.
Yeah. All right. So the home platform, and I know I said this, you guys know me, I'm a tech, I'm an AI guy, and I couldn't be more excited about what we have coming here. The last 2 days, or last week, 2 full days of it really got that deep dive on what it is. But here's the home position and statement of what this really is. So Home Platform is a fully connected platform built for real estate professionals. From first contact to close, it brings together everything agents need to grow their business, work more efficiently, and deliver a client experience that sets them apart. Like this truly is a platform that is beneficial for you as the agent. It's going to help you be more efficient. We're going to go over this. Everything's in one spot instead of kind of spread all over all the different places. You got a bunch of tabs open and things like that. And then on the consumer end, like it is pretty freaking cool. Like I'll go over, there's things that I used to use and pay for subscriptions when I was selling because we didn't have this as part of our platform that is just built into this. So on the consumer end, it is going to be so much of a better experience. I didn't add it into these slides, but all of your communication that you will have with your clients will be done through the Home Platform. So they'll download the app. You'll have the app. Everything on the app you could do exactly the same as what you can do on your desktop, on your computer. Okay, and any communication you have will all be stored right there, and it will save in the transaction, which is really cool. Okay, and you don't have to. You can email them right through the Home app. You could just click on it, and email them right through there. You don't have to go back into your email and go all over. It takes away that I got to go here and I got to go there. It just is all connected. It's really really awesome. So how we work today? What's the problem? Right now, I mean, I still think like our tech compared, I've seen a lot of the other companies' techs. Our tech is still one of the better ones. This is just blows it out of the water. It truly does. If you guys know, you go into Desk right now, the apps don't really talk to each other at all. Your CRM is here. You got it. You do your CMA over here. Your marketing could be somewhere else. You re-enter the same contact how many different times in a zip forms and a my deals into, if your CRM and to all these different places, the MLS, nothing really talks to each other and the data kind of sits in silos. And it's just more time managing tools and managing relationships than working in your business. So what excites me about the Home, you contact once in there and that's it. Every tool on the platform knows who they are and it just all talks to each other. So one input shared everywhere. The CRM, goes right through the CMA to the marketing, the client dashboard. It automatically does it. There's no tool hopping, bouncing around from this to that. And it's really built for how we work. I mean, we wear a lot of different hats. You got to do a little bit of the tech. You know what I mean? You got to know paperwork. I mean, how many different social media, all the different things that we do, they make it this much more simpler was just all in one place. So how the Home Platform helps agents grow. You never got to wonder who to call or what to do next. This is the really cool part about it. Now, what I'll say is this works best. What I found out, the biggest thing, it works best off from a good database. So we got a couple months here, the rollout's going to be in September for all the agents. You need to have a database, like a decent one. So we're going to be spending a lot of time working on who should be in your database and what the tag should be and all that kind of stuff like that. Go ahead.
We don't have to have the database already in an existing, like CB. Okay.
No, because you're just going to download that. You just really needed an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll get it over and upload it into this. And the uploading of it is I did it for the whole office, and I'm going to start setting you guys up on like searches so you can see what it looks like on the consumer side and stuff like that. And so you can start playing with it. And yeah, it's just needed an Excel file. So
Notes in your CRM of like you write notes about this person. I met them in 2022 and they
it will be all held on the client dashboard. So if you go to that person, all the notes will be there of everything you talked about. All of your communication, everything, every file you're going to go to, everything's going to be saved in that client dashboard for that client.
how we
The notes we'll find out that if the notes are going to actually, I think they will transfer over, but
they transfer less.
yeah. Karen, you were at Compass beforehand, right? Did you have notes and transfer them in and they transfer the notes over? Do you remember? No. Okay, I'm not sure. So if you go in there, you have an AI assistant that you can just ask all the time, and it just answers you. So a lot of things that it will just automatically do for you. Like once you have your database in there, probably the coolest thing is likely to sell. So it scans your whole database and it flags who statistically is most likely to move in the last 12 months. It will take the things in a factor of how long they lived there, how many of the neighbors are moving around them, are they going on to different websites and starting to look at houses and stuff like that, and it will start giving them a score, how likely they are to sell, so then it tells you that you should be reaching out to them. You can see what your clients are actually doing, what they are looking at, every house you go to. It's just a better client experience, and for you to stay in touch with them. And like I said, there's just no more guessing. I mean, how many times did you guys come in here and you get the one or two things done that you need to get done, and then you're like, oh gosh, what should I do now? Like, what do I need to do today? If you have the database in here, it is going to help you tell you who to reach out to, what to say, and what to do. Do you have a question?
In my database, I don't have how many years they loaded. It'll just take their address and search county records
Yeah.
or whatever.
It'll track their address of how long they've been in there and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And went over the AI assistant. Business tracker, I'm gonna go into depth a little bit more about that. I sent out a lot of times the Ninja. Gosh, what is that called? Ninja tracker. Yeah, business tracker, Ninja tracker. My gosh,
It's called the Ninja Business Tracker.
Ninja business tracker. Yeah, same thing, but where you move stuff along. The business tracker, that might be honestly my favorite thing of what we have. And then there's going to be auto checklists on there of when in business tracker, but you can add your own stuff in as well. So again, client dashboard, everything in one place, everything about their deal. Every document that they sign is all going to be there. There's no more having to go and make sure they get it and invite them in from Transaction Manager. Everything that they sign will be in one place. Everybody on the deal, the lender, the title company, they'll be able to see all their information and emails. Folio used to do this. They used to, any document that was sent in there, any contact that's in there, they'd be able to see all this. They'll be able to see their data or the deal status at the glance. They go into their client dashboard and see where they're at in the process of everything going on. And there's just no more scattered info of, you got some stuff in zip forms here, you got some stuff here. Everything is in that one spot in the client platform. So for you, it's better to see everything that is going on with the whole file in one place. But for your client, it is just truly a better experience for them to have everything in one spot. And I used to pay for Folio. I think I paid like $30 a month for Folio in the past that used to do that. So this is Business Tracker here. So it will go across, it will look like this: the nurturing, looking, under contract, or new listing, under contract, all the way to closed. And here's just some of the examples that they put in here, of things to do during it. Now you can add your own checklist. There'll be automatic checklists built into it, but if you have different checklists and things that you like to do with your marketing or anything like that, you can add your own checklist in there and save those for every transaction, every client. So as you go through from nurturing to looking, your new checklist is going to come up, and through the transaction, you can go through and click through and just make sure you're not missing anything. Like, we'll love this part of it. You had this? Go ahead.
And I think when we were at Compass, that there was capability to see everything that Real Scout is doing. Is that, can they do it now? Compass is tech in a fully replace Real Scout.
What do you do different on Real Scout that you weren't doing on there?
It's just a nurture camp.
Yeah. And that's what it's supposed to, the CRM should do that. It just automatically stays in contact with them and everything like that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, the CRM should replace that. Yeah. All right. And then the buyer search, really awesome as well. So every house your buyer tours, it's saved, it's remembered, and it's accessible for them to go see. So you go onto this platform, instead of, they call it collections. Collections is kind of like an auto email that you set up on Matrix. We will no longer be setting people up once this comes out on Matrix for auto emails. It will all be set up in this platform. And if you pull it up, it looks like pretty much on there. It looks just like our MLS, where you input all the information and how it looks. So it's not going to be, I have to learn a whole new system of how to save someone. It will look just like what our MLS does for the criteria and stuff like that, but it's inside this platform. And then it has connected right to showing time with Google Maps, where it tells you exactly what the best directions and the time it's going to take in between. You set up the showing time right through there. And then you can connect it to your email. They get all the houses that you're going to go to as well. So now some of the people were doing, I think maybe Stefani's doing, I know Matt Vogel was doing on a lot of them, where he was doing the Moxie agent or buyer tour, where you had to go in and you had to take all the MLS numbers, go into Moxie, put all the MLS numbers in there, and then you could send them out that report. You know, there's a 5-minute step. This just automatically does it for you, where they will get, when you go on the tour of them, they'll get every house they're looking at, the pictures of it, the tax record, all the information on the house, the public record that they can just scroll through and they can leave notes about and leave comments about and stuff like that. And then that is saved in their platform where you can see it later on. So that part is really awesome. They call these collections, and there's more that go into it. The more people that you have saved in these collections and auto email. So right now, Compass, there's about 200 agents, Compass agents on this right now. Small market share. Once we get on, and then Century 21, Sotheby's, and there's a little bit of ERA, we're going to have about 30% of the market share in Pittsburgh. And then the more people that you have saved on collections, when you go to a listing appointment and you sit down with a seller and you're talking about pricing, they'll be able to see a graph of how 30% of the market, at what price they should list at, with how many people are set up on a search for that price. So it's really going to help you with negotiating price and kind of getting them to not price too high, because you can say, well, you want to price here. There's only this many people set up on a search for this price. If you go more over here, you're going to appeal to many more people. Okay, so we have that kind of triangle graph in Moxie that we talk about this. This is like the triangle graph with a graph going across with the actual data of what's going on. So it's going to help even more. So love this part of it. All right. So 5 things the platform does for you that I kind of went over. Like I said, the AI powered CRM, likely to list. Really cool. The listing intelligence, which I was kind of telling you about, of where to price a property and things like that. What's the buyer demand out there? There's so much more listing insights that you can take with you on a listing appointment. Match this with Listing Concierge. Like, I don't know how we're going to lose any listings to the other big companies out here when we have this kind of data. The buyer search, what I went over, and then there's the marketing center. They essentially built Canva inside the platform, built around real estate, where you can just say, I want a social media post, and it could just create it for you. I want to do a flyer, it just create it for you. And it's so much simpler than what we have here, because it just all talks to each other. So again, likely to sell. Out here again is probably the biggest thing on the list side to help you drive more traffic and know who to reach out to. Like I said, a 12-month prediction window scans the whole database against the market signals, flags who's most likely to move in the next 12 months. And then you call first and you can get a hold of them before any agent reaches out to them. And then there's the other one on there, Make Me Sell. I wanted to show these because they're 2 different things. Make Me Sell. Does anybody remember in Zillow used to have a Make Me Sell? They don't still have that, do they? The Make Me Sell? No, Make Me Move. I think it was Make Me Move. So it's something very similar to that, where if you have a client, maybe they don't want their house listed. You don't need a listing contract for this. If they're saying, you know, maybe they got a $500,000 house or whatever, and they're like, oh gosh, I'll take $550,000 for it. You could go in, set them up as a client in there, or if they're already in there, put their house down as $550,000, and then all the buyers that are set up in searches in the market can see that they're saying, hey, we will sell this house for this price. Okay, so it's just another resource tool you have. And then if anybody reaches out to you or reaches out about the property, you're going to be the one that gets that information. You don't need a listing contract for this at all. Okay. All right. So what I would say, I mentioned this before, I would try to be an early adopter of this. It's not just going to be, hey, here's the platform. It's just going to work for you automatically. We're going to be doing a lot of sessions with this. I think John said we're going to do 9 weeks straight of 30 minutes every single day of what we're going to do. So I think it's going to be 3 weeks straight at 9 o'clock in the morning, 3 weeks straight at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I think it's 3 weeks straight 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Hey, listen, we're excited about it. We're doing it in the morning. Thank you for correcting me on that.
That's fine.
And I think it was going to be either a weekend, like a 10:30 on a Saturday, I believe is going to be the other one that they're going to do for 3 weeks as well. So everybody can get on the platform. But it really works the best if you're kind of you get the database. So we're going to spend a lot of time. We're going to start doing some workshops on that of one, how to build your database if you don't have one, clean up your database, and start getting tags on there, remove people who don't need to be on there. What I would say right now, be proactive. Just, if you can go through 10 people a week until then, or depending on how many you have, maybe it's more, just start going through your database and saying, do I know this person? Have I talked to him in like the last 5 years? Is this the open house lead that I just never even talked to again? Like, try to clean it out and get the people who you actually know in your sphere that are on your database. Okay. And then what's some of the early adopters around that have starting to use this, what they're saying? I called 5 contacts of the day likely to sell, flag them. 2 listed with me within 30 days. That doesn't happen without data. There's likely sell just working right off the bat. Make me sell open a new conversation I never knew how to start. I closed both sides of an off-market deal. The platform paid itself on one deal. I walked into a listing appointment with listing insights, and then a seller said they'd never seen anything like it. Signed the same day. Okay, so this is the most we're going to talk about the home platform. I don't want to be like just jamming it down your throats, but I want to get you guys excited so you can start again getting the database going. So we are ready to go. Like it is truly going to make your lives easier. It's going to make you more efficient. You are going to grow your businesses, and on the consumer end, this is just a way better product from what we got now. The communication is way better through here. Alrighty, agent interview.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're pretty tech savvy and that's not, but I'm curious, because you've got a kind of background. How user friendly is it? And is there a built-in tutorial?
Yeah, it is super intuitive. Like it is so much easier to use than our platform. If you can get through our platform, this is going to be way easier. Yeah, there's going to be a learning curve like anything is of learning a new product. But the great thing about it is if you're on something, you're like, oh gosh, how the heck do I do that? They have that AI assistant built into it where you could just ask the question, hey, where do I find this out? How do I do this? And it can help guide you through what to do. Okay. So, but it is very intuitive, easy to use, all in one place. I've been hearing more yes than no that we're eventually going to go to Google. I don't think that's going to happen instantly. I think that's going to be a phase. So that's another thing about this. So like my deals is we're not going to get exactly what Compass has immediately. We're going to get most of the product. And as time goes, I think the end of after next year, I think 2027 is when they're going to have the My Deals inside the platform and everything like that. They're going to start slowly taking some of the pieces of things that we use now, the Coal Banker, away, and then you'll just all be using it on the Compass platform. Okay, hope that answers your question, but we don't know for sure. But it sounds like yes, we will be going to Gmail. Yeah. No, it doesn't have that capability for it. Yeah, it's more of just an AI assistant. It's not like an AI like Claude or ChatGPT, more of just an assistant on the platform. Yep. Any other questions about the platform? No. Did you like it quite a bit? Me too. I mean, everybody who came here from Compass, they said that's the biggest thing. They're like, this is the best. We're getting this and being here. Ready. Make sure that I get you in frame on like that was. He thinks I did it on purpose. Yeah. Alrighty, let me turn this around so you all online can see what the heck's going on here. Alrighty. All right. So if you guys haven't met Jeanette yet, I'm sure most of you have because she's in here quite a bit and coming to classes and stuff like that. This is Jeanette Schaefer, no S.
Yes. No, that's the end of Schaefer, just one singular Schaefer.
So thanks for sitting down. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and just what your life looks like today.
Oh, sure. So again, I'm Jeanette Schaefer, and I started out life in Venezuela. I was born in Venezuela. My father's Hispanic. My mother is Irish. I got all the recessive genes. I looked like I was born on top of the Blarney Stone, and was raised in Michigan, and moved to Pennsylvania. It's hard to imagine 29 years ago, and got married. It'll be 24 years, October 5th. So my husband's name is Garth. and I have 2 cats, Jerry and Cassie. No kids, at least not any that I know about.
So before real estate, what did you do before you got into real estate? What's your life look like?
Oh, sure. So I started out life as an opera singer. I am a classically trained singer. I have a bachelor's degree in classical voice from Central Michigan University. It was a great way to spend my 20s. I got to see 32 of the 50 states and 8 countries in Europe. And I also worked in academia, and my master's degree is in poetry. My area of expertise for literature is Eastern mythology and Appalachian folklore. And
I hear that most days.
yeah,
People go
you know,
to get
like you do, like you do. And then I got into the banking industry. I started out as a bank teller, mostly because it was 9 to 4, Monday through Friday, no nights, no weekends, and it allowed me to still have a very rich artistic life. And it seemed like I blinked, and then 24 years had gone by, and I was a vice president for J.P. Morgan Chase for the Pittsburgh market.
So why did you get out of that, and what made you get into real estate?
So actually, what got me out of banking, ironically enough, was COVID. I got a really bad case of COVID in January of 2021. And I had just experienced kind of a growing discontent with the banking industry. When I had started out in the banking industry, it was very much a service industry, which really appealed to me, especially my artistic instincts. I was very much wanting to make an impact with my life and with the work that I did. And the banking industry really changed. It went from being a service industry to more of a widget industry, which is why you kept seeing these banking scandals come up. Like if you didn't sell so many credit cards, well, then you were out of a job. So then you had like what happened at Wells Fargo. All these people are opening credit cards for people who didn't know they were getting credit cards open for them because people were afraid of losing their jobs. And then Wells Fargo had a big scandal, and the industry was going more and more towards product pushing versus really taking what was best for the client into account. And so I was becoming more and more dissatisfied with the industry. But I had a really nice, cushy paycheck and a nice, cushy job. And so I was really afraid to kind of take that leap and try something else. And then I got COVID, and I had it really bad. I missed 6 weeks of work, had to have a blood transfusion and everything. Like it really kicked my butt. And then I went back to work. And having been gone that long, it sort of forced me to not be able to ignore how dissatisfied I had become. And I also have a birth defect in my heart. I've had 4 heart attacks, the first one when I was 29. So I've always been kind of oddly grateful for that, because when I'm faced with a major decision, I don't have the luxury of second guessing myself. So if I'm considering something big, I've got to act. So I'm already 13 years past my original expiration date that they gave me. So yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm not happy with this anymore. It was starting to feel like I was wearing a hair suit. Like once I knew that I didn't like it, that it didn't fit my life anymore, I had to get the hell out of Dodge, pardon my French. And so I started considering, what else interests me? What else do I think I want to do? And one of my business banking clients had come into the bank, and he had noticed that there was a change in me. And he said, "Where's my happy banker?" And for whatever reason, I decided to just tell him, "Hey, I got COVID and I hate my job." And he's like, "Well, we love, we've we've moved to 3 different banks because we love you and you take good care of us. Have you ever considered real estate?" And he was my first broker. And so I was like, "Well, actually, that's on my short list of things I'd like to try." So he's like, my wife's the broker. Why don't you come have lunch with us?" And I said, "Well, actually, I'm off tomorrow because I have to cover Saturday this week." Had lunch with her the next day. I was like, "Yep, this feels right." I didn't even have my license yet. Because I was a bank officer, I had to give 3 weeks notice. I gave my notice the next day.
Wow.
Because once I knew I wanted, once you know you don't want to do something for the rest of your life, you want the rest of your life to start right away. I started working on my license and I had it 7 weeks later.
That's awesome. So your first year getting into it, is it
Mhm.
what you expected? Like talk us through how your first year went.
Oh, sure. So I didn't really know too much about real estate other than at one point in my banking career, I had been a mortgage loan officer for about 10 years. So, and that was pretty early in my banking career. And I really liked doing mortgages. And they asked, you know, I had a lot of leadership skills. So eventually they asked me to come onto the branch side and start running branches as opposed to doing loans. And so I knew about real estate from that aspect. So I was looking at, okay, so I was like, okay, I kind of know what real estate agents do just from having received contracts, interacting with them, but I wasn't sure like how to go about getting started. So I just started with calling everyone I knew and said, "Hey, this is what I'm doing now." And so they were like, what do you want to do in your first 6 months?" And I said, "Well, I'd like to close 10 deals my first 6 months." And my broker was like, "Well, why don't we put down 4? Because that's probably that'll be more realistic." And the way I'm hardwired, I said, "No, I don't want you to put 4. I don't even want to see that number on the board. I want you to put 10." And I closed 13 in my first 6 months.
Awesome. That's awesome. What year did you get your license?
I got my license June of 2021.
21, and then you started at Realty One, or was
Yeah,
that?
Realty One. Yeah,
Alright,
but
so-
I've only worked 2 places, Realty One and here.
Okay, so you obviously made the move to here. You're
Yeah.
here now. So talk us through of why you decided to make that move to Coldwell Banker. Like what did your business look like? Like what was going through your mind of why you decided to make that move?
For sure. I wanted to have a more balanced business. I was doing about 40 transactions a year, which was pretty good. And but about 80% of it was buyers, about 20% of it was sellers. And I had kind of reached a plateau most and I wanted to be a better listing agent. And I was asking for more training and development around listings, was given the name of a listing coach, and felt like I didn't want to go outside my brokerage for that training and development. The listing coach was certainly very helpful, and I was grateful to get their information. But I felt like, why am I not getting it here? And so I decided to look up the person in our office who currently had the most listings, and I was going to take that person out to lunch and ask them what they were doing and ask them to help me. And we had about 80 agents at the time, and we had 12 listings in the office, and 5 of them were mine. So I took myself out to lunch and I asked myself what I was doing.
So what were you exactly were you looking for? You weren't getting it there, the kind of learning how to be a listing agent. Like what were you mostly looking for going to somewhere else?
What I was looking for was how to get more listings for one, and also how to do them more efficiently, how to take previous clients, because at that point, I'd been in real estate about 3 years. So I was starting to get some of my first year clients who, they've been in their house for 2 years. So not all of them were ready to sell, but there were a couple that were like, "Hey, I want to put my house back on the market," and what conversations to have to get referrals from those folks, as well as, I kept hearing things like, "Oh, reach out to expired listings, reach out to for sale by owners." But when I would dig a little deeper and say, "Okay, what do I say to these people?" It was like nothing really beyond that. So it's like, okay, if this is the behavior, what's the how? How do I do it? And there really wasn't much on the how.
So now you came here. When was that? July? It's been
Yeah, July of last year.
almost a year now.
Mhm.
And so, what's your experience been so far with technology training and stuff you've gotten? And you feel like it's been a good move?
Oh yeah, definitely. And my first week here, they were finishing up a series on listings, and so I went to the last class, and I just took like 6 pages of notes, and I was like, okay, this is what I've been looking for. More of a listing focus, more of a focus on what the actual behaviors look like in practice. And it really ramped up the listing side of my business. Last year was the best year I had in listings, and I started in July, so pretty far into the year. The previous year, I had 40 transactions and 7 of them were listings. Last year I had 38 transactions and 14 of them were listings. So I doubled the number of listings that I had by coming over here.
Probably freed up a little bit of your time.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, my big aha moment was about 4 weeks. I'd been here about 4 weeks. I went to John Perry, you know, introduced myself, talked to him about some of the things I wanted to do, asked him for some help about listings. He gave me some things to try. I told him, I've decided that you're my listing mentor. I didn't ask so much as told. And also the way I roll. And he said, okay, I'm in. And so we meet monthly to talk about strategy. And, everything he told me to do, I tried everything with an open mind. And everything so far, everything he's given me to try worked, except for sale by owners. Those people hate me for some reasons, but I tried.
I feel like a lot of them hate real estate agents in general. It's not just you, but
And like I'm a nut about trying things. Like I try something 100 times before I give up on it. And I called 100 for sale by owners, and I converted 2 of them. And so like I don't know if it's the academic in me from having worked in academia, but anyway, so just kind of really applied myself to the study of listings, and I wanted to feel like I was an expert at listings. I wanted to feel like I was as good at listings as I was with buyers. So I forgot the original question.
no, you answered it.
Oh, okay. So
But I mean, something I noticed, a lot of you guys know I started in Berkshire when I came over here. Like, I wasn't good at listings at all and didn't have a listing presentation or anything like that. And after going through the training and stuff here and then having the Moxie presentation, know what I'm going to take with me.
Mhm.
I don't know if you felt this way, but my confidence level
Oh, yeah.
walking into something or just even talking to sellers like from the get-go, my confidence level went way up, which allowed me to get more business.
And right now I'm sitting on 10 listings. 3 of them are under contract, 6 closings in June. And right now my ratio is 80% sellers and 20% buyers.
That's awesome. That's great. So 40 deals is a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot to manage and stuff. So what do you do week to week to make sure nothing slips in the crack? I mean, because you don't really have an admin too much. Like
No,
what?
I'm going to get one this year. though.
Yeah, that's what they were pushing to do. Like you just need an admin. Like how do you make sure nothing slips through the cracks of doing that many deals at once?
Oh, sure. Well, one of the things that was a big adjustment for me when I went from banking to real estate is banking is a very regimented industry. If you don't do certain things on certain days, you're out of compliance. And for instance, if you don't order your cash from the Federal Reserve on Tuesdays, you don't have cash for your branch the following week. So it's pretty catastrophic. And so I got used to being very regimented with my schedule. And so I was like, oh, nobody's making a schedule for me anymore. This feels weird. So the first thing I did was I made a schedule for myself. What does my 40 hours look like? And if you treat your real estate like a business, it's going to pay you like a business. So I do work 40 hours a week. And there's a hand up.
Yeah, I'm just curious, 13 transactions in 6 months. Hit the ground. Where was your source of business?
Oh, we're getting there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And my first and my first full year, I did 38 deals. And so like I made a schedule for myself. This is what I do on Mondays. So sort of like what I did in banking. Mondays I do this. Tuesdays I do this. Wednesdays, and so forth. And I just stuck to that. If you show me your schedule, I'll show you your level of success. And I take on the occasional coaching client, and that's one of the first things we do. We don't discuss strategy. We don't discuss behaviors. The first thing we do is we discuss your schedule and what are you doing with your time? What are you investing with your time in terms of your business?
Yeah, so I've talked about a lot the signal versus the noise, right? A lot too many people work on the noise, the stuff that doesn't have a direct revenue impact, like activity on your business. like work more in a signal, things that are actually going to move the needle and not so much all the other fluff. It's important. And I've seen you work a lot in your business and not just things outside of it. But I do what I really wanted to talk to you about though is your networking that you've been doing, and especially networking with attorneys, where a lot of this business has been coming from. So walk me through this of how did you get into it, and how is it kind of working for you of working with like what's talk us through how's that look like? The
Sure.
network.
So I think it's important to belong to a networking group where you're meeting with them regularly. I happen to get into a BNI group, if you're familiar with them, where we meet once a week, 50 weeks out of the year. And we develop a relationship where we know, like, and trust each other. And so that group could be with your church, it could be with your chamber of commerce. The important thing is that you're meeting with each other regularly, you're building compound relationships, and you're developing a spirit of reciprocity. And so it doesn't have to be a BNI group, but it needs to be a group of people that you're meeting with regularly and where there's a lot of give and take. So, and that really helped. And one of the things that I wanted to do was, work smarter, not harder, and develop referral resources that were ongoing. And so I wanted to cultivate some relationships with divorce and estate attorneys, because a lot of times with that type of law, there's family assets that need to be liquidated. And, a home frequently is one of those things that need to be liquidated. And a lot of divorce and estate attorneys already have a realtor or two that they're working with. And the way I would present it is, hey, I want to get to know you. I want you to get to know, like, and trust me. And if there's a space for me in your business, I would like to, I would like to fill it. And then sometimes it's just a matter of maybe that one realtor they've always worked with goes on vacation at an inopportune time, or if they start to slip a little in their service. One of the biggest openings that I had was he kept getting feedback on, like, the clients that had larger, you know, sales priced homes were always coming back to him with really good feedback, like, oh, I love this person. I love this person. Somebody who had to sell $100,000 house was like, oh my God, it was like pulling teeth to get this person to call me back. And I said, well, how about you let me be your 150,000? And that opened the doorway. And because he kept getting reports that I was providing good service, well, now I'm his primary person. And because of that relationship, I have 20